This is a video by Richpin. Today we're working on a 2002 Dodge Neon with 130,000 miles. And this particular vehicle has a transmission leak. Now about a week ago, I brought it in, replaced the pan gasket, and that did not stop the leak. Today I'm going to show you what the leak is. Here's the transmission pan right here. I put a new gasket on and the fluid was still leaking. Now what it was doing was leaking down from above the pan and running down the front face right here. And so the only thing that is up there that is very common to leak on these is the shift control solenoid. So that's what we're going to be replacing today. First thing we need to do is to remove the negative battery cable from the battery. Next thing we need to do is to remove the air box cover. It has 5 Phillips head screws, and we have a Luma wire over here with 2 clips on it, and we need to take that off. Then we can take the top of the air box off and then just grab the air cleaner and just pull it out. So what we're trying to do is trying to take the box out of the way. So the next thing we need to do is take this air inlet right here, just take it off, and you can just leave the wire on, set it over on the side, and then right over here is a 10mm nut that secures the box down, and then one right here. And we need to remove those right now. Next thing we need to do is to remove these 4 10mm head bolts that secure the box to the throttle body, and then right over here is a fresh air hose, and we just need to pry that off the box. One last thing before we try to remove our box, we got a little clip right here, and take that off, and now we should be able to remove the box. Next we're going to remove the throttle body assembly to give us some more room. We want to take the electrical connections off the idle control solenoid and the throttle position sensor right here. And then we have this vacuum hose right here we have to take off. And then there's a clamp right down here where it clamps to the intake manifold. We need to loosen that. And once we do, we should be able to pull this whole assembly off, and we will slide it underneath this loom here, and we'll just set it on top of the engine out of the way. Now here is the shift control solenoid right down here, and you can see it's plastered with all kinds of oil and dirt. So the next thing we need to do is we're going to blow all that loose stuff we can out with the compressed air, and we're going to clean that thing spotless before we remove it. So that's the thing we're going to do right now. Alright, now we need to take our electrical connections out of the way. We have the main lead that runs down to the solenoid. There is an 8mm head bolt that secures it, and I've already got it loosened, and just slide it off. We got this connection right here, this one over here, and this one down there, and we'll take those out of the way. Okay, now we need to take the 3 10mm head bolts that secure the shift solenoid to the transmission. You see that one in the middle right there? You're going to have to get that with a 10mm box wrench, and then the ones on the end you can get with a socket. And make sure you put a pan underneath there to catch any fluid that might come out. Alright, I got the end bolts out. The middle one is loose, and I went underneath with a small rod here and tapped up to break it loose. So now we should be able to pull it out of there. And of course, we don't want to drop any dirt down there. Alright, she's out. Now the next thing we need to do is to remove that old gasket and make sure that it's nice and clean before we put on our new solenoid. Alright, we got our surface all cleaned and scraped down, ready to go. Here is the new shift solenoid. Our gasket is held in place by the dowels here. So we're ready to go. Now I'm going to install that center bolt. And we want to be very careful. Drop any dirt or anything. Line up our dowels. There they are. Now all we have to do is tighten the bolts. Now remember, those are very small bolts. Don't over torque them. They'll be very easy to snap. Use 1/4 inch small wrenches and tighten those bolts right now. Alright, now it's just a matter of putting everything back on that we took off, and that's it. Okay, everything's back together. Let us sit in the garage for about 20 minutes running. No leaks. Just came back from a ride. Shifted fine. So that was the problem. So that's all there is to replacing your shift control solenoid on your Dodge Neon.